Rasslin, that's wrestling. Rasslin, that's wrestling.
It's me. It's me. It's that N to the T to the G rolling once again with that BT double B. It's Big Trouble Ben Bishop and Nikki the Good coming at you once again on Rasslin. Ben, what's up? Big Trouble. What do we got going on right now, man?
Nick, I'm doing well, but there's one thing I got to get off my chest first. Let me say what I got to say. Hold on. I'm not corporate, but I'm always all about the business, so the hats go in front. All right. Let's start off with this rant. And first off, I want to let everyone know that we're going to keep things positive on this. On Rasslin, we're all about the positivity. We're not going to be negative. We're not going to talk about what we don't like too much. That's not this type of podcast. We're keeping it positive. That's why I'm always going to focus on the positive. But today, I got to make sure I let you all know. First, let me say thank you to everybody who left some really nice comments, who appreciate the energy of wrestling, who appreciate what we're doing here. Thank you. But to some of the people, some of you, I know you want Brandon. I know you want Brandon Walker back. We get it. Nick and I get it. He's a big ticket item. He's the draw. We understand that. We know what the draw is. But some of you that are leaving some of these nasty comments,
Marks,
saying to us either that we don't deserve to be here or the show stinks and all this. Let me ask you a question. The first time that you laid down with a lady or a man or a person of your choosing, whatever it may be,
probably didn't happen.
Were you the Lothario? Were you the Don Juan? Were you the best? No, you weren't. And you probably still aren't because you take your time leaving these YouTube comments, these shitty YouTube comments. So listen, give it time. Let us do our thing. Let us work. Yeah, you might see us as just two regular guys. You might just think that's all we are. You might think that we don't deserve to be here doing this. But Nick's a guy who puts in hours on end, who started from the bottom, who got to the top. He's one of the best Barstool producers. He did this on his own, the self-made man. And then you got me. Let me give you a little bit of snippet. I'm getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning tomorrow to head to the airport, to the Atlanta airport, which is hell on earth if you've never been there. And I got to get on a flight. I got to get a layover in Tampa. Then I got to go to Chicago. Those logistics don't make sense. I'm going south to go north. And then the next morning, I'm getting up at 5 to 45-minute drive to the airport in Chicago to come back to Atlanta. But that I do that almost every freaking weekend, going to places like Pocahontas, Tennessee, going to the Boondocks in Mississippi every single weekend.
Imagine going to Mississippi every weekend.
Imagine going to Mississippi every weekend. Wait.
Awful.
That's all I'm going to say. Give it time. Let us rock. Let us do our thing. And that's the last I will ever comment on the negativity. Hats going backwards.
Hats going backwards, and then we're going to kick off the show. You guys know the rundown.
Woo! All right, let's get it started.
There we go. There we go. You guys know the deal. We're going to kick things off with Takey Too Hotty. Takey Too Hotty, if you don't remember, it's the segment where I asked you guys on the Rasslin Twitter, give me your most controversial wrestling take based off the last week. It could be a positive one. It could be a negative one, but we're going to talk about it because you, the fans, are important, and we want to hear what you have to say, and then we want to talk about it here. So, Big Trouble, start me off. What do you got out of the we got a bunch of responses.
We got a good amount. Yeah, so the first one, I'm going to say the one that I agree with, and this is from @TheChrisClutch on Twitter. Damian Priest winning the Money in the Bank, and it has been one of the more interesting Money in the Bank storylines, I think, in recent history. They're actually doing something now with the Money in the Bank. It's not just, guy wins it and, holds on to it, and sometimes we'll walk out with it, and sometimes we'll tease that they're going to cash it in. No, it's not that. There's a whole story behind it. You got the jealousy from Finn Balor. What's going to happen with the Judgment Day? They're a top actor right now in WWE. I think that a guy like him, his stature's a big guy, of course, I'm partial to the big guys. He's a great worker, has been working for a long time now. This storyline with the Money in the Bank actually gives it a little bit more prestige, and it's not just kind of a throwaway item to be like, hey, let's throw it, let's give him the Intercontinental Championship. I think, Damian Priest is in line to be a world champion very soon. I mean, that's not really going out on a limb, but, I think from this storyline, it's going to really propel him.
And what's crazy about it is people keep saying like, oh, the bloodline's all WWE has. Like, I don't know. Judgment Day, this is a great storyline. Like, and it's weaved into every single show that they have. And there's multiple layers involved. There's Finn's layer with the dissension amongst the group. You have Rhea, who's the women's world champion, who's just like probably the best thing they got going right now. And then you have the heat seeker like Dom. So please explain to me how the bloodline is the only thing they have going on. I mean, if anything, like I would say like the WWE has the two best factions in all of pro wrestling right now. And that's saying something. So it's not just the bloodline show. The Judgment Day is a thread throughout every single show they got. So yeah, hot take, cold take. I mean, I think the Judgment Day, I think people are starting to understand is like they ain't going nowhere. And if they do, it's just going to be a different fact. If Finn breaks off, we've already spoke about that last week. We covered that a little bit, right? But layers, there's layers to the story, and the story keeps going. We thought the bloodline story would be over at WrestleMania. Look at it now.
Yeah, and it's the best. I think it's the best thing that all 4 members of Judgment Day have done in WWE. Every single
easily.
one.
It's not even
run down the line. Obviously, Dom's new, but the other 3, yeah, you're right. It's not close. It's the best that they've been doing in recent years.
For me, I got my hot take is from Shake at ESG Shake. He says the World Heavyweight Championship has been a footnote to other storylines since its inception, and it's less prestigious than the IC title at this point. And to that, I will say, I hate to say I told you so, but I've been saying it for weeks, for months. The brand split with especially the WWE Championship is a horrible idea. I don't like it. If you like it, great. I appreciate your opinion because we're all about the positivity here. But the fact of the matter is that's the way they treat it. You have the world champion coming out with buffalo wings, right? Like to me, Rollins is a top guy. Top guy. And I know he's got this character where he's a little bit of a jokester and stuff like that. But when you do that, you're like, then you have Gunther, as serious as he is with the IC title. The audience sees that, and I see that. And to me, Rollins doesn't even need that belt. Like, he doesn't even need the World Heavyweight Championship. It's just another, like, to me, it's like, oh, okay, it's marketing for the WWE. We're going to have a World Heavyweight Championship match on this card. That's cool. I like the belt. I like the look of the belt. I like it all. But I just don't think that I'm never going to look at that belt as much as I look at Gunther with this title reign. To me, it's like when that IC title changes hands, it's going to be a big deal. It's going to be a big deal. Whether that's Drew or someone else, I don't know. But if Rollins drops the World Heavyweight Championship like next week to like, I don't know, anyone like Kevin Owens, I wouldn't bat an eye. I really wouldn't. And that's a disservice to Rollins in my eyes because he's a guy that he don't even need it. He don't even need it. He's doing it because he's the guy. They're like, okay, we put it on the belt. It's going to look great on Rollins. He's a top guy. It makes sense. But again, the big prize is Roman's time,
of course,
and that's never going to change.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it is like you said, it's a marketing thing, right? Seth Rollins is, as we've been seeing, you know, he's appearing on ESPN. He's going to be in the new Captain America movie. You know, putting the title on him. Obviously, it has the big W on it. Right, big and gold and W, and you say the brand is continuing out there. That's what it is. It's all about branding. And you hit the nail on the head with Gunther. I mean, the IC title right now is right below Roman Reigns. That's the top title in the company, and it's because the guy makes the title, right? The person makes the title. Not the title's not going to make anybody. We've seen titles be put on people. Again, we're all about the positivity, so we're not going to say names, but I'm sure a few would come to mind. That it didn't matter. They had the world title, they had the WWE title, and it didn't do anything for them. So it's the person. The person makes it. The person makes it. And there's nothing against Rollins. He's amazing. He's one of the best wrestlers currently, and at the end of the day, he'll be one of the best wrestlers of all time. But like you said, doesn't need it. Didn't need it. But yeah, you know what? It's the marketing machine. The want to get the brand out there, and
I'll tell you, and I don't want to. We're not going to be negative here, but WrestleMania 29, I was sitting there in the rain, and Jack Swagger came out on like a golf cart with Dutch Mantel, and it was Alberto Del Rio, and no one cared.
No,
and nobody.
I was there too in the rain.
It was cold
all the way up there, all the way up there at MetLife.
It wasn't that fun.
So usually we only do one take, but this one really stuck out to me. This is one I definitely disagree with, and it's from the Wrestling Spotlight on Twitter. We appreciate your opinion, but unfortunately, your opinion's wrong. Roman Reigns is not a good wrestler. What?
He is pro wrestling.
What have you watched the past 3 years? What's going on here? He's everything what professional wrestling should be. Everything he does is his mannerisms, everything, the way he moves in the ring. It doesn't have to be like we say this ad nauseum. Things don't have to go a million miles an hour. He slows it down. He's methodical, and all of his matches get people emotionally invested. And at the end of the day, that is exactly what professional wrestling should be.
What's crazy is we got this last week too. Like we get Roman Reigns as a shitty wrestler every single week, and every single week I'm like, without Roman Reigns, like the majority, like I would say a large amount of people that are watching right now wouldn't be nearly either watching or be as invested. And it's because professional wrestling, and I've never been in a ring before, but it's not just the moves. And if anything, like I don't equate it to the moves. I equate it to like pro wrestlers are different. Like there's just different variations of it. But Roman Reigns right now is the epitome of what what a wrestler is.
You want to get people invested. That's it. Look at the ratings. Just look at it. Once he's on the screen, they popped at 3.2 in the quarter hour with just a talking segment.
That's a big number for now. That's a big number right now.
That's huge.
Speaking of big and huge, though, we're going to go into our next segment, which is that's not going to work for me, brother, because nothing's bigger than the 24-inch pythons of Hulkamania running wild. So, Ben, big trouble. What moment in pro wrestling this week is not going to work for you, brother?
So it's not going to work for me, brother, and this is me also speaking as a former athlete, well, I guess a current athlete in professional wrestling, but as a locker room guy, in the locker room, things that happen in the locker room stays in the locker room. We don't talk about it outside the locker room. And seeing a little bit this week about things getting leaked out to these dirt sheets, seeing like there was an altercation backstage at Raw after the main event or what have you. Who is leaking this stuff? Which one of the boys or the girls? Who's leaking this? The brothers and the sisters in the back. What are you doing? Why are you leaking things out to Dave Meltzer or Mike Johnson or any of these people at these dirt sheets? They don't need to be hearing this. Keep things in house. You think Hogan wanted people talking about what he was doing backstage? No, brother, he didn't want any of that. Come on. Keep things in house. Stop sending stuff to the dirt sheets. What do you get out of it? They ain't paying you. They ain't paying you anything. They ain't making that much money anyway. So they ain't giving.
And the rub isn't even that good either.
Rub ain't even that good. What do you want to be friends with one of these nerds in the dirt sheets? No, you don't want that. You don't want that. Keep things in house. Anything that happens, fights happen, altercations happen, a lot of testosterone flowing. It's gonna happen. So don't be doing that. Leaking to the dirt sheets.
Pump it through the veins. That testosterone.
That don't work for me, brother. What about you, Nick?
That don't work for me, brother. So you know me, when it comes to Hogan, I'm all about those spots. I want to do spots that Hulk Hogan would say no to. If you checked out, a big moment on Raw was Ricochet doing that little flip ski over the top rope. So I could just imagine back in the day, they're like, Hulkster, we know that you got your signature moves, but what we really think would be great is if you went across the ropes and did a front flip over the top and landed on your legs. And I could just see Hulkamania just shutting it down and being like, that's not going to work for me, brother. What happens if I go down? The business goes down, right? How are people going to respect? You know me, brother. What's the deal? Why do we need to be doing this? Let's big boot, right? Little wag, a Hulk up, hit the big leg, go home. Everybody makes millions of dollars. Why am I flipping over the top rope? So I go just see Hulk Hogan sitting home being like, wow, that's amazing. But brother, that ain't gonna fill out the Superdome, brother.
It sure won't.
You need the big boot. You need the big leg. So for me, that's not going to work for me, brother. Listen, Ricochet's probably been doing that move a million times. Like he's good to go, but you're not asking the Hulkster to do anything but about 5 moves in that ring. And those 5 moves are going to sell out every arena across the globe, brother.
Everywhere. Tokyo Dome, Madison Square Garden, Silver Dome, what have you, any of them. All you need is that big boot, the leg drop, the body slam, the 700-pound Andre the Giant over his head, slamming him down.
That's it, brother. That's it. So next segment, this is your segment, Big Trouble. We got it's big man shit. Big man shit. What do we got going on in the world of big men?
Big man shit of the week. And we gotta give it to the guy whose game it is, LA Knight. LA Knight. right now, probably one of the hottest things in professional wrestling, one of the hottest guys in professional wrestling. Had a dark segment on SmackDown last week, over 2 million and counting YouTube views already.
Huge.
Out a dark segment, that doesn't happen.
Was that the Garden?
At the Garden too. The Garden, the place blew up. The people were screaming to the rafters in the Garden in New York City. He's making it there. He can make it anywhere. I think somebody said that at one point. He's also top 5 in merch right now, alongside Cena, alongside Austin, alongside the NWO, Rhodes, Roman. He's right up there with those guys. He's getting top reactions every week. I really only think he's second to the Bloodline at this point. I think honestly. And
be interesting if they throw him against the Bloodline at some point.
It'd be interesting
if that happens down the road.
Put him in the top programs now. I think he's ready. I mean, he's also a 20-something year vet at this point. He's ready. There's nothing. He's not going to get more ready than he is now. Right?
Yeah, get ready to get
ready to get ready. There you go. Exactly.
I know the catchphrases.
He is ready to Captain Catchphrase. He is ready to get ready. And listen, everyone knows I've said it so much. Everyone knows that I'm a huge Kevin Nash fan. Kevin Nash, my favorite wrestler, Big Diesel, Big Daddy Cool, Big Sexy. He is my favorite wrestler. I emulate him. A lot of stuff that I do. I do not agree with what he said about LA Knight. Well, to an extent, yes, LA Knight is a little bit like The Rock. He is a little bit like Stone Cold. But again, there's nothing wrong with that. We all emulate people. Like I just said, I emulate Kevin Nash. Ric Flair emulated Buddy Rogers. It happened throughout history and throughout. MJF has a little bit of Roddy Piper in him. It happens. And it's going to continue.
Those guys are also 20 years ago at this point.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is no one supposed to come out with charisma and have some catchphrases? If anything, last time I checked, man, that's the reason I'm watching, brother.
Absolutely.
That's the reason I'm watching the damn thing.
I want the guys with the big personalities. I love that. And
dude, his music hits. He's got the signature LA at the beginning, and everyone knows immediately you're going to get entertained. And to me, that is why LA Knight is over right now. It doesn't matter because you don't know whether he's going to wrestle. You don't know whether he's going to cut a promo. He was in that ring at the Garden for maybe like 2.5 minutes. He didn't even say anything. He knew it because they were probably like, listen, you don't got much time. Go out there, do what you got. He's like, I'll keep it short and sweet. LA, now boom, leaves here. And that's all he's got to do.
Absolutely.
And now everyone's pissed off he wasn't on the show. Should have been on the show. Don't know what's going on there, but wasn't on the show. But look at the views right now on YouTube. And that may be their ploy. It's like they know they want to get a big number on YouTube. So let's just save them for YouTube because they're a business. But dude, get this guy on the screen. He's 40 years old. Guess who else is 40 years old? Damian Priest. Okay. So I don't want to hear about his age either. Okay. I'm 38 and I got the looks of a 28-year-old. Okay. It's possible. All right.
I mean, look. He looks incredible too, right? I mean, he's built like a brick shit house.
Hell yeah.
He looks incredible. And that's the thing. You don't need to like some of these promos, and people think you got to go out and you got to like either mention the competition or you got to do the deep cut type stuff that only like the smart fans know. No, he's going out there and he's cutting his promo and whose game it is, and he has everybody saying the name, and he says, yeah, he's got a little catch. That's all you need. People want to be involved. Get the people involved with you. That's all they need. And that's coming from a guy like me who has a ton of stupid catchphrases. But hey, you know what? People remember. Everyone's like, why don't you say you're 7 foot? I'm like, why? I say 6'12" because you never heard anybody be 6'12".
Right.
And people are going to remember that. There's a ton of 7-footers. There ain't anybody at 6'12". So people remember little quirky things like that. And I mean, there's nothing really else to be said. He's incredible. Big man shirt of the week goes to LA Knight.
LA Knight, we could all agree that he's over, but that's what we also talk about in this segment. So like this next segment is called Actually Over. And what that is it's our way of talking about things where it's like, okay, we use the word over a lot. Hey, that was great. That was over. Well, what was actually over in the week that really got things either talked about, trending on social media, or that you just say, we're like, hey, or like the old fashioned tell your friend, hey, did you see that happen last night on Raw? That's actually over to me. So Big Trouble, as usual, kick it to you first. Tagging you in.
All right. Well, I got the hot tag coming in because and emphasis on the hot. Let me let me segue to being a little bit my 1999 Jerry Lawler right here, because, brother, did you see the pictures of the Barbie premiere?
I did. I
Did
know.
you see? Did you see?
I was going to mention
make sure
it.
my wife doesn't. My wife doesn't
Married
hear me.
man, father of 2 here, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, married, yeah, as well, homeowner, and but I'll make sure my wife's not home. To be home soon. So, that Liv Morgan, Scarlett at the Barbie premiere, brother. We're not going to get misogynistic here. I'm not going to say too much, but that's over. That's over. I mean, they looked great. They're at the Barbie premiere. Obviously, Barbie's going to be one of the biggest hits of the summer. I'm actually excited to see it. I think it's gonna be great. I think it's gonna be funny. And of course, big fan of Margot Robbie as well. But they were there. They're over as hell at one of the biggest premieres of the summer. They're sitting there. What could be better?
I actually
took
a double take. I took a double take at Liv Morgan dressed up that way. I was like, "Is that Margot Robbie?" Legit.
Yeah, they kind of look alike. Yeah,
like for like a split second, I didn't know it was Liv Morgan. I thought it was like a promo shot of Margot Robbie.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, wait a minute, that's Liv. Like, I know she dresses up as like she does in the Harley Quinn, and which makes sense because Margot Robbie obviously played that as well. But like, yeah, that's all. Just like, yeah, awesome.
Right. Yeah, that was
game
that's
is
over.
It's their game.
That's over.
Anyway, speaking of over, I'm also going to kick it to the ladies twice. Last week we did a 2-lady call out. We did it with Shayna Baszler and Natty. This week, I'm going with friend of Rasslin, friend of the show. She maybe should have been a co-host with Brandon Walker. I'm going with that moment backstage with Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green with the 1, 2, 3 strikes you're out basketball. Everyone was talking about that little cut. That just something so stupid, but it's so genius based on her character. The way they're pronouncing her name, all of that stuff. And Chelsea, like, if anyone has started to realize it, she's an absolute star. She's phenomenal on the mic. She's great with mannerisms, and she's great in the ring, right? So just doing those small things, like literally, it's a backstage segment, right? It's just like they've done it a million times. But she hits that line, and you're like, man, that shit was really funny. And that just stuck. I mean, it was trending everywhere. People, basketball emojis used more than during the NBA playoffs. That to me is where, like, that's an actually over moment where it's like you leave Raw talking about that moment and you're like, damn, like, that's what I remember. That little thing backstage.
Yeah.
So to me, that was there. Yeah.
One of the things that we talk about in wrestling, especially when you're on shows, is maximizing your minutes. Right. We say this all the time, and it doesn't matter how much time you have. You can have 20 minutes or you can have 2 minutes. And what Chelsea's doing right now, she's maximizing those minutes. She might not be in the main event scene. It might not be the main event of the show. It might not be a premiere segment of the show, but she's getting in there and she's making people remember, even if it's only a quick 2-3 minute backstage segment. And that's just as important. We remember in the Attitude Era, we remember some of the segments that might have been on the lower card, like the segments with Al Snow, coming out with Head, or, the segments with, you name it, anybody, Val Venus, guys like that, just the guys that are on the lower card, but you remember those things. You remember it, right? And it's just, it might only be for a few minutes, but it's going to stick in your head. So
I couldn't tell you a Val Venus match. Like, if I really thought about it, I could pinpoint some that were good, and he was solid in the ring.
Of course, yeah.
He had good matches. But what did I always remember about Val Venus? The Hello Ladies and the promos to start every single match. Mm-hmm. And guess what? You didn't need anything else after that. That's what he did on the show. Like, hello, ladies.
Oh, yeah, with the towel and
something. There's a lot like the Big Val Bogey is a lot like whatever the hell.
Yeah.
And then he related back to something which we know we're talking about. We're in different worlds right now, so I'm not going to go there. But that's all you need. You don't need much. You just need something. You need something that you go to that for a while. You may need to evolve down the road, but that's really it. And like Chelsea I wouldn't be surprised if she does some of those like in the future that are just different versions of saying like 1, 2, 3 strikes you're out basketball. Everyone's just waiting for Chelsea to mess up something each week.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how things develop. I also got two other things that I think are over real quick. Just want to make
let's
some
hear it.
side notes. So Big Bill's over.
Of course.
Big Bill is over. He is a future. He better get that.
He should be. He should be.
He looks unfucking believable.
Mm-hmm.
Like the outfit, he's jacked.
Yep.
DDP Yoga, I believe.
DDP Yoga. And also, I got to shout out Life Med Institute in Timonium, Maryland. I actually went there as well. A gentleman by the name of Kent Backler, who has worked with a lot of professional wrestlers. He has done a tremendous job in helping a lot of guys get back into very good shape through different methods. And I just want to shout them out because they're a heck of a place. And I know that Big Bill has gone there a bunch of times. So.
I mean, it's great. I mean, that he looks just like, I look at him, I'm like, this is the best. He's like menacing too. Like he's just like, like you look at him, and you're like, dude, this guy is just so much bigger than everybody. He's not like just skinny too. Like he's like he's got body on him, legs on him. There's nothing he don't got right now, and he's just playing his role. He's quiet, you know. But like each and every week, he's getting more screen time, and like. I mean, Brian Cage has been around. He's a big dude as well. But I'm sorry, man. When Big Bill's in that ring and he grabs you by the goozle, you're like, holy shit. So he's over to me. Actually, he's been over for a very long time for me. I've always been gone big cast. I was always those were my guys back in the day. Those are my guys. Plus, I'm obviously an Enzo guy because little dude. Like I mean, Enzo's not small, but like compared to Big Bill, compared to Big Cass, you are. The other thing is you see what Flair has now.
Oh, does he have an energy drink now?
Yeah, it's called Woo energy drink. It's incredible. I saw a freaking promo of him doing it, talking about he's going to be at Hogan's Beat Shop, and I'm like, this is a great idea.
Yeah,
this is a he's like, you want to know how the Nature Boy stood up all those times? Woo! I put my energy in a drink.
Oh,
that shit just makes sense. It's like we always talk about, like I think Austin always has like that. If you could bottle the feeling I have, like when I go to the ring and sell it, you'd be a billionaire. Basically, like if you could bottle the energy and like that, that Ric Flair has and put it in a can, which it is now. Woo!
I couldn't imagine being at Hogan's Beat Shop with Ric Flair and Hogan just sitting there.
What a comeback by Flair too, because he was, knocking on the old.
Nothing's gonna beat Ric Flair. Death ain't gonna beat Ric Flair.
Nope, and he kicked out.
Him down. He's kicking out, man. He's putting Death in a figure four every single day. Same way
he looked years ago. And then we're gonna kick it out to actually a surprise segment. Then I got you. I gotta ask you something.
Yeah.
I put out another little question on the bird. I said, what are your biggest pet peeves when it comes to wrestling gear? So I have my own, but I want you to tell me what you think yours are, because then I got a special surprise for everyone after that.
All right.
Two guys you may have seen before.
All right. So when it comes to wrestling gear, wrestling, you're a character. Wrestling, you need to present yourself like a star. And you got to have good gear. You got to have gear that's shiny. Look at the guys like HBK. Look at the guys like even like something simple like Hogan. Everything matched. Everything looked good. It fit him. Seth Rollins has great gear. The worst thing that happened is that there's guy like, unfortunately, and it works for him. But Kevin Owens comes out in basketball shorts and a tank top.
Works for him though.
And it works for him. And he's an exception to the rule. Now you got guys in the indies who are just coming out with basketball shorts, be like, oh, well, Kevin Owens does it, so I can do it. It's like, brother, you ain't Kevin Owens. You're not going to be Kevin Owens. You're not good. You look like crap. You look horrible. Get real gear because it doesn't look good on you. And one thing that I got a really big pet peeve, the single thing, but I hate the absolute most and what no one should ever wear are goddamn sweater vests.
Well, if that's the case, you're not going to like what I got in store for you, because they're back again. It's the Even Stevens.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Yeah, and they got a little thing to say about their biggest pet peeves when it comes to ring gear. Check it out.
Thanks, Nick. So, Even Stevens here, and when it comes to in-ring gear, we have a couple of pet peeves, or should we say, pet Steves.
You got that right. And our biggest pet Steve when it comes to wrestling gear is too much skin show. Oh, I mean, look at this. Sweater vest. Cover up, people. This Randy
Gross.
Orton?
Gross.
Oh my God.
And what about
Cover
this
up.
guy? MJF?
MJF.
Why does he take the scarf off?
He takes
Leave
it
it
off.
on.
We need layers.
We need layers,
So we
people.
thought we would give you guys top 5 of the Even Stevens best, or should I say, best ring gear. Number 5, the top Bostonian out there.
Ooh.
Boston Bob.
I love Boston.
Look at that t-shirt in the ring, representing his favorite sports team. That's what's up.
He's doing it right.
He's doing it right.
And for me, we're going to go over to number 4, one of my good friends. I like to call him CPA.
Oh,
Take a
love
look
that.
at that hunk.
Love
Take
that.
a look at that hunk.
No
and,
notes.
and you know what the best thing about CPA is? When he takes his shirt off, he has another one underneath. He stays fully clothed the entire time. He's doing it
What
right.
more could you ask
What
for?
more?
Number 3, Thugonomics era John Cena.
Steve Life.
Peep the long jersey. I mean, sure, yes, later in life he took the shirt off, but what happened? ECW One Night Stand? They wanted him to put the shirt back on.
Put it back on.
Simple, put the shirt back on. What's wrong with you?
Just do it. And now we head over to number 2, and we're talking about the big dog.
Oh yeah. Well,
No, not that one.
not that one.
This big dog.
Well, bam!
Check out that guy, or should I say dog, because he is covered head to toe, or should I say head to paw,
paws,
am
you
I
got that
right? He's doing it the right way.
And finally, number 1 gear of all time, debuted at the 1990 Survivor Series. That's right, the Gobbledygooker.
Look at him go!
No notes. It's the feathers that did it for me.
Hey, the feathers really bring it all together. So,
Well, that's it.
that's it. When it comes to in-ring gear, that's what the Even Stevens like. We don't need to show some skin. It's
No.
a PG show. What are you doing, guys? Nicholas, back to you.
Thanks, guys. As per usual, Ben is not a fan. You look like you. I mean, I have a special place for sweater vests in my heart because I went to an all-boy Catholic school, and that was like the thing you wore back in the day. But let's close out the show by getting our shit in. Okay, so Ben, you alluded to it earlier in the show. Seems like you got a lot going on. What's the deal?
Yeah, no, getting my shit in. This weekend, I will be in Chicago for Windy City Professional Wrestling, leaving tomorrow morning, early flight, getting up, going to have the jet fuel on deck. Going to, it's a great show right outside Chicago in Sycamore, Illinois. I know Brandon lives in Illinois now and right outside Chicago. So will he be there? Most likely not, but we're going to see if he can get there. Got a few shows coming up there in the future. And also I want to give a shout out to a good buddy of mine, a professional wrestler, going through it right now. His name is Travis Titan. Travis is fighting an illness currently. He's been in and out of the hospital. So he has a GoFundMe up. He actually was at my WWE tryout 2 years ago, and I wrestled him during the tryout. Great guy, man of faith, and I really hope everybody can support him. So Travis Titan on Instagram, he's a great guy, and he's just really could use some support right now. So just
Yeah,
wanted
when
to
we
throw that
tweet
out
this
there.
out, but if you want to drop any of that
I'll definitely
stuff,
drop. I'll drop his information for sure.
For sure, yeah. Getting my shit in here. So we mentioned Brandon Walker, the man you all want to see. Well, he gave a hot take that's going to be coming out later today on the MJF and with the Adam Cole stuff going on. So yep, I got Brandon doing stuff. I got him doing stuff. I'm hoping to get some interviews with him coming up. Obviously, you guys know that All Out's coming, and where does Brandon live now? You could do the math there and figure things out for yourself. Also got SummerSlam coming up. Brandon's going to that. You could do the math there as far as interviews are concerned. So we'll let you guys know what's going on there as far as Rasslin is concerned. So make sure you subscribe because we bring you a lot of shit. But as far as getting your shit in, let's plug ourselves. We got Ben. You are at Big Trouble BB.
On
Trouble
all
BB.
platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, not TikTok. I think I gotta eventually get one, but but at Big Trouble BB.
For me, just follow me at Nikki the Good on Twitter. You can see our handles right below here. Also follow Rasslin on Twitter and Instagram at Rasslin. For TikTok, we are at Rasslin Barstool. We're growing there. We just passed 16,000 followers. I want to grow it. We're putting up some more archive stuff that we have from our past interviews recently. We're getting some help on the Rasslin account, which I appreciate you guys reaching out and offering up your services. But right now we're full. Right now we're full. My DMs are full, but right now that we're full. But I appreciate it. So follow us everywhere. We'll be here every Friday. And not only that, we're not just on YouTube now. We are on audio. So if you want to listen to us in the car, on the plane, anywhere, like ignoring your wife, in the tanning bed, trying to look good at the pool with the other dads, which is what I'm probably going to do later. Do that. Listen to us everywhere and leave some good comments. If you want to leave bad ones, that's fine. But I'm just going to chalk it up to the old algorithm, and I worked you into a shoe, brother. That's it for this week. Ben, you want to say anything else before you sign off?
No, folks. Really, the only thing you got to say, don't work yourself into a shoot, you marks.
Don't work yourself into a shoe. Later, marks.
RASSLIN, that's wrestling. RASSLIN, that's wrestling.
All right, Ben, we got one more thing before we go. We got voicemails. We got a voicemail here, and I'm going to play it for you right now. Let me know what you think. You're a big man. This dude's a big man that he's talking about. Check it out.
Yeah, I was there at that Buffalo show, and let me tell you something. I'm a little fucking pissed that Brock Lesnar didn't show up. I thought it was a perfect setup. He didn't show up. Kind of a bitch move. I don't know what to say. I'm a little mad. But that promo from Cody, come on, man. Next level. Fire. Have a great night.
Well, thanks for the call. So I don't think Brock Lesnar has a bitch move in his body, first of all. Second of all, dude's an attraction, brother. Just like the Hulk. Just like the Hulkster. He's an attraction. So if you don't get Brock, you didn't get Brock, man. That's why you pay tickets to WrestleMania. That's why you pay tickets to SummerSlam. That's why you pay these big tickets, because that's where Brock Lesnar is going to be. You know who else is a big ticket? Brandon Walker. You'll get him when you get him, okay? And he'll be there, I promise, but you'll get him. Also, yeah, Cody's just been, every time people say they're going to get tired of Cody on the mic and his promos, he comes out, he knocks out of the park. The guy's a professional. He's the son of the American dream. Let's maybe give him the benefit of the doubt. What do you think, Ben?
Listen, brother, I don't want to disparage this gentleman in any way, but my man, would you call Brock Lesnar a bitch to his face? You're standing in front of Brock Lesnar, just a gorilla of a man, and I've seen Brock Lesnar up close and personal before, and he defies physics the way he looks in person. You might see him like far away at a show, but when you see him really just like up close, walking by you in a hallway, I'm a big guy, 6'12", 15% of a metric ton. People look at me when I walk by, but when he's a different animal. He's not. Believe me, you're not going to call Brock Lesnar a bitch. Don't be calling him a bitch. You'll see him when you see him. You're going to see Brock Lesnar when it's on Brock Lesnar's terms. How about that?
And also, don't blame Brock, because if they paid him, Brock would have been there, because he's a businessman.
He sure is.
He's not just a big bastard, like Vince would say. He's a businessman. Thanks for the call, though.
RASSLIN, that's wrestling. RASSLIN, that's wrestling. RASSLIN, that's wrestling.